Olesya. I'm very excited to have you as a guest on my podcast. How are you today?
Hello, Conny. Everything is good, and thank you for inviting. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very happy you're here. So before we dive into our topic today, I always ask my guests first a little bit who they are and what their journey was to get to the place they are now. So would you want to share a little bit with my listeners who you are?
Oh yes, definitely. That would be good. Um, well, about myself, what I can say about myself that I am a collection of all experiences that I've had in my life, all places I've visited, all cultures I've been to, all countries, and all things I've learned, and all things I failed at probably as well. And all things that I'm experiencing now, and all things that I want to learn and see and experience. So that's kind of thing. I've been doing different things in my life, and what I'm doing now is not really what I started when I was in my university years and school years. So yeah, there were a lot of changes, but they were really good changes, and I learned a lot. And now I came to a point when I'm really passionate about textile waste reduction. I upcycle clothes, and I teach others how to mend and upcycle their clothing too.
Yeah, and this is an exciting topic that I want to talk with you about. But first, I have another question. So I know you told me you're originally from the Ukraine, but you're now in the UK.
Yeah.
But so I'm wondering, is it something that people do still more in the Ukraine than in the UK or here, kind of like UK, North America, that upcycling or mending of clothes?
Um, to be honest, yes, Ukraine, I can say that this country is more about making clothes, remaking clothes, doing alterations and mending. Why? Because as well, one of the reasons is income,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. But at the same time, it's good because people learn to have this skill. It's really important skill.
Yeah.
And in general, mending and upcycling, these are really, really old skills.
Mm-hmm.
Even ancient Egypt, they were doing those mummy things, patching clothes, and clothes really showed then uh,
Mm-hmm.
to what class a person belongs, who
Yeah.
is wealthy and who is not, unfortunately. Well, and this still is in our time where we can see that people who are wealthy, uh, that's what most people understand, they wear certain brands.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we identify ourselves with brands and material things, which is not really good. But going back to the upcycling and mending, as another example, 1600s approximately in Japan, these were first writings about sashiko stitching.
Oh.
That's just plain running stitch, and this was the way for Japanese people, mostly women, to make a garment warmer and upcycle it and appreciate the fabric. So this was in different cultures long ago until today. Like nowadays, we see that we have this really kind of fancy word in our language, upcycling. And upcycling means there are two words, upcycling and recycling. So as I see, recycling is something that can be done at a factory, like mass production level, recycling. So that's how they take clothes, for example, all 100% wool, and they shred it and they make new yarn. That's just an example. And upcycling is when you take one thing, you add your skills, creativity, your talent, your self-expression, your vision, idea, and then you create something new. For example, you take a pair of jeans and a pair of jeans that, for example, damaged. beyond repair. It's also possible, but I always try to repair jeans no matter what. And you create something new of better quality. As an example, you take a pair of jeans and you make a handbag. So for those who are watching us, that's handbag made from my husband's pair of jeans. It was 100% handmade without sewing machine. So that's a better value, something of better value for me. Maybe someone doesn't like it, but for me, it's step up. This is why the word is upcycling, this prefix up. So it becomes, the thing becomes of better, higher value in a way. So yeah, I noticed that countries with a bit lower income, when they cannot afford buying clothes and throwing it away, unfortunately, as it's done in UK, US, and most developed countries, this is what we see. So that's, the skill is being forgotten a little bit.
Yeah, I just want to say to that. So I grew up in Switzerland, and I remember my grandmother still mended all her clothes, and also for us children, she fixed holes and put patches on and everything. But I do remember, like, I grew up like in the early 70s and stuff, that there was some kind of a stigma around it if you had fixed and patched up clothes, even as a child, where like I was a little bit wild, so I had constantly holes in my jeans or in my pants because I fell over or got they got ripped on something because I was in the woods a lot. But so, yeah, then there was this stigma to it that, oh, you can't afford decent clothes, so your grandma or your mother has to fix it. And I feel like we need to change this again. So that's kind of also why I like to have you on the show, because we are this throwaway culture, and in one way we're always saying, oh, we should take better care of our environment, but at the same time we're not changing our habits. And I feel like this is one where we could start, because it also, like you said, we can bring in our creativity and create something that is ours. And like you said about that handbag, it's then a higher value because you put your energy and your creativity and your skills in it, and it's not just something that comes from a factory.
Yeah, that's true. There is a different energy in a piece of clothing that was made in a sweatshop by an employee who is underpaid in terrible conditions. And if it's something made with passion, with love, with ideas and inspiration and all over,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Did you have did you have something like sewing classes at school when you were at school?
Yes, I did. And I was terribly bad at it because we had to sew straight lines. And this is, for some reason, something I can't do. I can't do a straight line. Not even if there is a drawn line, I can't, I don't know. And I remember we had sewing classes, I think it was about third or fourth grade, and we wanted to make pants. And I had to undo my stitching 4 times until the teacher said to me, okay, you are actually really trying, but you can't, so let's just leave it at that. She always thought I wouldn't be trying properly, but I was, and I just, so it was funny.
Here, I will assure you that this is what I tell my students. Handmade things, they're not supposed to be perfect and straight, because they're handmade, and this is why they're valued for their specially made, like, unique item. It's not like a machine is doing the stitch. It's person who's doing it. So they're not supposed to be perfectly straight.
Yeah, it was funny. It was just back then, though, that's what the requirement was. You have to follow the straight line, and I couldn't do it. And so I had to open up the stitching 4 times, and I still couldn't do it. And then she said, okay, whatever. So what I'm wondering is, when did you start with that? Was there a moment where you realized, okay, that's my jam. That's what I want to do?
Oh, it started all long ago, actually, when around 30 years ago, when I was a little girl, and my mom was sewing and my mom was knitting. So I was growing up in a household with a sewing machine and knitting machine. So I was seeing a lot of this, and my grandma as well. So I took my dad's t-shirt I chopped it into pieces and I made it up for myself. I was so excited. I loved it. And my dad knew it. So it was mutual consent. I really loved it. And I was always making something from something when I was a child. Soft toys from fabric scraps, jewelry from bits and pieces, handbags for me from my mom's old handbags. So it was always something. And I patched and embroidered my jeans as well. And my education and work experience had nothing to do with creativity or sewing or clothes making. So I went in a little bit different way. My first diploma was English language teacher, and I've never became one, so that's fine. And then I've been into management administration, working for companies, for big companies, and my most one of the recent ones, when I've been living for a decade in Dubai, I was writing processes and procedures for a company about different aspects. So this experience in a way helped me to write tutorials later on for what I love doing. So yeah, that's how it all started. I knew that I was always creative and I wanted to be creative. I wanted to apply my skills to all different aspects. And when the time came, we moved to the UK a few years ago, and I started thinking, okay, what I'm going to do now. And mentally, I was not really in a good place, to be honest. And I thought, okay, what do I like? And at this point, I liked mental counseling, mental wellness counseling, and I liked environmental protection and sustainability, these two areas. And I thought, okay, what I'm going to do. Then for 1 week, I was acting as if I'm in one area. I searched for colleges, job prospects, all these things. And then I did the same for 1 week with the second aspect, second direction. None of this worked for me, really. I felt really worse. And then my friend told me, why don't you start giving sewing classes to people? I was mending my kids' pants, jeans for me. I was upcycling my clothes. I was like doing a lot of things already. And she told me, why don't you give sewing classes? And I'm like, me sewing classes? It's kind of, this mentality kicks in. I don't have even diploma for this. And how will I do sewing classes? So, but I just went for it, I loved it. I got a really amazing group of people. They were coming to me all the time, and I was really excited. And I passion. That's my passion. And then when a little girl, I had a Christmas session, and little girl came up to me with her mom after the class, and her mom told me, "Oh, my daughter, she wants a sewing machine as a Christmas present." And I got so emotional because this little girl, 10-year-old, I remembered myself in this age. And this girl, she got inspired to learn more. And so it was really like happy moment for me, kind of thing. It meant like whatever I was doing, it was worth doing.
Yeah. And it's so funny how we always think we need a diploma for it. No, like you can sew and you can help or teach people how to sew without having a diploma on how to sew.
If I'm passionate about it, I'm reading so many books about different things.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah, so I think you touched on it already a little bit, but let's dive in a little bit deeper into the benefits of upcycling, because we touched on that a little bit. It has environmental benefits, of course. It has financial benefits, as you said, like if you don't have that much money, you can just maybe upcycle your existing clothes as long as they still fit you instead of buying new. But you also touched now on something like I feel like there is emotional or mental benefits to it too. Did you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. environmental and financial, yeah, there are quite a lot of things about it, because whenever I talk about upcycling, mending in general, I suggest to go for 200 days without buying new clothes. And I had hashtag 200 days that matter. And whatever, if you are not sure you can go for 200 days, you can start with 30 and then extend it to 100. And then eventually it will be 200 days. You will not buy anything new. You can buy pre-loved, upcycled and vintage. And at the end, you will realize that you saved a lot of money. And you can really reward yourself and buy something of really good quality and look at the piece of clothing as an investment. Because better quality of the garment, it will last longer. Then check if there is any fabric around the stitches that will let you do alterations, make it a bit larger, a bit smaller, it depends. And if there are spare buttons, if the quality of fabric is really good in general. So yeah, it's about really exiting this fast fashion merry-go-round, actually, yeah. And environmental, that, yeah, we all know about it. To make one pair of jeans, for example, it takes around 2.5 thousand up to 3,000 gallons of water to make one pair of jeans.
Yeah.
And just to give a little perspective to this, one person drinks around 15 gallons of water every month. 1 month, 15 gallons. And one pair of jeans is around 3,000 gallons of water. So cotton is really, really thirsty.
Yeah.
And in terms of mental wellness, this is really big topic for me as well. At first, sewing and mending, upcycling is a hobby that many of us really, really need right now. You can build a community, you can find friends, and you can do projects together. That's amazing. And when I talk about this, I usually ask 3 joyful questions. First question is, do you do something every day that makes you feel joyful? So it's about hobby, something with your hands. It can be crochet, knitting, sewing, anything with your hands where you can focus, disconnect from everything that's going on around you. And it's meditation, kind of, it's not out of the blue. Sewing is called slow stitching meditation. For example, sashiko. That's how you focus. And yeah, it is in a way. If you're stressed and you cannot sleep, if you do 10-15 minutes of stitching before you sleep, it will relax you like proper. Sometimes I do it as well because I have 2 small kids and things happen during the day.
Yes.
And second joyful question is, do you look at things every day that make you feel good, joyful? Here it's important to remind about how colors affect us on a daily basis. For example, I like bright stuff, bright colors, patterns. It's a symbol of abundance. It was always like this: berries, fruits, flowers. It's abundance. If there is none of that, it sends a signal to our brain about lack and scarcity. There are research pieces about this, and it was proven. So, and third question is, do you wear clothes that makes you feel good and comfortable?
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not talking about corporate uniform, ties and all this stuff, but in general, in most cases, our home wear is gray, beige, I would say. And
Yes.
when I drop my kids to school and nursery, sometimes I'm the only one mom wearing bright clothes in the queue, and
Yeah.
everybody's joggers and and I'm wearing now a dress that I made from someone. My friend gave me this pink one. Then this was my husband's. Then this was my husband's hoodie, and it's like all bright. Oh, the camera got out of focus. So all nice and bright colors. It will get back. So I just like bright colors because they affect us. So these are all
Yeah.
joyful questions that I usually ask. So anyway, yeah, it will get back. And hands and eyes coordination as well for children, for example, it's really important. But in most cases, it's disconnection from the environment,
Mhm.
focusing and relaxing and having this me time. And then when you complete your first project, you will be proud of yourself, you will be more and more confident, making more things, and you can make even presents for your family friends. They will be also saying, oh wow, because not everyone nowadays can do that, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. So lots of benefits, like a wider range. Like for our personal life, it's a benefit. For the environment, it's a benefit. For the wallet, is a benefit financially.
Yeah, yeah,
And also, like, a lot of people forget this, how much energy is needed to create new clothes. And then also, like, there's the huge dilemma around all the clothes that we just throw out, even if we think we recycle them. Like, I read a few articles that even if you bring your clothes to recycling centers or put them in these dumpsters, it's not always good what happens with it, because
yeah,
first of all, we from the developed countries, like you said, we throw them out, and then we think, oh, it goes to the poor in Africa or something. But they started to not wanting that stuff anymore. Also
yeah,
because it's toxic. Oftentimes, the clothes, when it gets produced, they use all these toxins with it, so they don't want to have it anymore, and they want to have their own
yeah.
self-expression and not our um, secondhand stuff.
Waste, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of um, issues, let's say, issues around clothes that a lot of people are not aware of. And besides, like you said, it is something that is so close to our body, and it has an expression and an effect on our brain. Like you said, if you wear bright colors, then we're more happy. If we're wearing these dull colors, our brain gets the message like, oh, okay. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So do you have any advice for people are listening now and are a little bit motivated or intrigued? How could they start do that? How could they start upcycle something that they have?
Yeah. Okay, to inspire you to start, I will tell you that you do not need a sewing machine to start upcycling and mending your clothes. So don't think that you need a sewing machine and all those different things. All you need just threads and needle. There are small sets are sold in supermarkets usually, and try something and see how you feel. And for example, you can make small changes to your garments by yourself. Even if it's just replacing the buttons, start with this, it will make a big difference. Here I
Mm-hmm.
have pinafore dress to show you. It had gray buttons,
Mm-hmm.
and now it has different color buttons
Mm-hmm.
that I replaced the buttons, and I added those little flaps, colorful, and
Yeah.
I made this pinafore dress a bit wider because I think it's 10 years old or maybe more. 2010 I got it in Dubai, and now it was too tight for me. I had two kids since then, and I want something a bit more comfy, cozy. So
Comfortable.
I added these panels to make it a bit wider, and
Mm-hmm.
again I added pockets panels
Mm-hmm.
on the pockets here, and all of this was done by hand, running stitch.
Mm-hmm.
Running stitch, nice and easy, because this pocket, there is no way I can stick my sewing machine somehow there to stitch this panel on.
Yes.
So it's running stitch
Yes.
by hand. So as you can see, everything is nice and simple. Changing buttons, adding some pocket panels, and that's it. Here you go. And people notice it. I've been wearing it to some events with the red tights.
Mm-hmm.
People notice it and people love it. So yeah.
Yeah.
And what you can do, you can embroider your jeans, adding a little bit like nice stitching to your jeans as well. It will make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I will show you what I did. There was one pair of jeans that my sons, both of them, they were wearing them when they were 1 year old, learning to walk. And I looked at this pair of jeans recently and I thought, oh, what am I going to do with it? I don't know. So now, as I don't wear corporate clothes anymore, I have a few pairs of trousers and some sort of blouses for the office. So what I did to make this pair of trousers more casual, like very casual, I dismantled the pair of jeans, my son's pair of jeans, and they put these panels from the jeans to my trousers. And this pair of jeans was even patched before when they
Yeah.
were wearing it. So
Yeah.
you see this little round patch, and the pockets are still there. And so when I wear this pair of trousers, my son is asking me, "Oh, mommy, these are my jeans,"
Yeah.
and I say, "Yeah." And people notice this as well, and that's a story to tell,
Yes.
really.
Yes.
And that's something special. That's when there is a connection between me and my clothes. It's not
Exactly.
like I'm, you know, I define myself with clothes that I wear. It's not branded. It's not nothing to do with brands, but this is really unique. This is
Yeah.
special for me. That's a story
Mm-hmm.
for me to tell as well, and memories attached to it. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how we appreciate our clothes, and
Yeah.
it's not about status or wealth, whatever, when we wear something specific, but it's respect towards our planet and towards people who make the clothes in
Yes.
general.
Yeah. Beautifully
Yeah, so
said.
don't worry, you don't need a sewing machine.
Yeah.
You can start with needle and thread, and if you would like to embroider your sweaters and jeans, you can get blunt needle for you and yarn. Charity shops, they sell yarn leftovers. You can ask your family friends if they need crochet, you can get some bits from them. And this handbag that's embroidered by knitting yarn, it's all very, very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Plain running stitch here, and it makes really, really nice pattern here. So
Mm-hmm.
just to start with, you can do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, great examples. And I love, like, anybody can actually exchange the buttons on something. Like we're all are capable of, even without, and I'm sure you offer courses, but even without taking a course, we're all able to go in a store, buy maybe a little bold buttons or colorful buttons, and
Yeah.
then spruce up something that we have, and that's a good start. But tell us a little bit. I'm sure you also help people, or you teach people how to do this. Do you have online courses, in-person courses when COVID is over, or how do you help people start with this, the people that think like they need help, they can't do it on their own?
Yeah, definitely. Whoever is living locally to me, I can do face to face. And if it's different countries, of course, different cities, I do online Zoom one-to-one sessions. I run live sessions in my Facebook group. If you're interested, check my Facebook group. It's Upcycle and Mend, Slow Fashion Boss. That's the name of the Facebook group. And my website is slowfashionboss.co.uk. And you will find the information there about my courses, tutorials. I have online courses with a special Facebook group where I support and give advice if any issues. And it includes 5 videos, 5 lessons with spreadsheets. So there are different stitches to learn, different techniques. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really, really interesting. And small tutorials as well. I have beginners tutorials, so which is good to start with. There are different ideas how you can uh, make adjustments and improvements to your clothes with minimum time involved and minimum effort, basically. So
Yeah.
it's really, really good to start with something.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
I'm always there to help on Facebook. So if there are any questions.
Awesome. I will put all the links in the show notes for sure. And I do really encourage my listeners to go to Olesya's website, because I saw there these cool upcycle jeans that I actually fell in love with. They're so nice and bright and colorful. So I really love them. So I encourage you to go and check out her website. So do you have any last words or any tips or some wisdom that you want to share before we wrap up?
Yes, definitely. Be confident that you can do it at the first place. And in order to start upcycling and mending your clothes, in order to start something new, you need to stop doing a few things. As I mentioned, stop buying new clothes and stop taking your clothes to charity shops and stop giving it away, because try to see, try to look at your clothing not like as it's end of the story and that's it, no chance, but as something that can give you hours of joy while you working on your projects, and then you will be proud of your completed project and you will be proud of your results. So try to see it as an unlimited possibilities for your self-expression. This is what is really, really important. And for me, fashion in general is something that it's somebody else's opinion about what looks good. So this is what fashion is. So our self-expression, our own personal style, it's really more important. It's unique.
Yeah.
Is as unique as your personality. So if you're really interested, that have a go at it. And it's really important, I think, to pass this on to our younger generation, because they're our future. And at the moment, as someone mentioned, we have enough clothing on the planet for the next 6 generations. So this is really sad. That's the result of our consumerism. So what to do? We have to deal with that somehow. Yeah. So check your wardrobe, do shopping in your wardrobe first, and see your hidden corners, dark corners, whatever you have in your dark corners.
Yes.
And start from there. There are main reasons why we stop wearing some garments. They became too tight, too big. We don't like the colors anymore. We don't like the style anymore. The garment is stained or the garment is damaged. So all of these are fixable. If there anything else I missed, I don't think so. That's most common, yeah. So everything is fixable. You can make the garment larger, you can make it smaller. If you need help, find someone in your community or find me online. I will help you. On Zoom, it's easy. If there is a stain, if there is a damage, it's easy to mend it. Visible mending is fun and it's very popular nowadays because people are proud of their clothing. It's, some people, they start showing off their skill and their respect towards clothing, not showing off the brand.
Yeah.
And
we take our power back and show our brand, not somebody else's brand.
Yeah, that's true. And if the color, you don't like the color, you don't like the style, the same. It's simple and easy to change it all with upcycling. You add a trim, you change buttons, you add something bright. As an example with this pinafore dress, yes, I don't like the color, it's gray, but 10 years ago I bought this gray and now I changed the color, so that's how it looks like now.
Yeah.
So everything is easy, everything is simple. So I wish you all the best. And I know you can do it.
Love it. I love it. Such great tips. And so I encourage everybody to go out and shop in your own closet, find something and upcycle it. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about this. I find it very exciting and I find it a very important mission too. It's like self-expression, but it's very, very important for the planet. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you enjoyed that, everyone.